Thank you for sharing all this stuff about mothers. Mothers are awesome, and thank you all. I love my mother very much. She takes care of me. Moms are really good. I love moms. When talking about mothers, it was about last week or so, right? Baltimore, the riot in Baltimore, right? Everybody remember that? Does everybody remember that mother that was dragging her kid out of the crowd, beating them on the head? Like, stupid. Don't do that. That's dumb. Yeah, that's an awesome mother. That takes a lot. My real question is where's the father in that situation? If there was a father in the situation, I'm not saying that there isn't, but maybe if there was, he wouldn't be out there, or the father would be out there beating his child instead of the mother. So it's true. So what I'm going to be talking about today is that it takes a mother and a father to make a family, right? Pretty simple. Mother and father make a family. It takes a mother and a father to make a family. Mothers are very, very important in the family. They're super important. I'm going to turn to, which one is it? 2 Timothy 1:5, if y'all would want to follow along, that would be awesome. I should have already been ready for that. That's me. Alright. So, how many of you were brought to church by your mother? Who actually brought you to church? Did your mother actually bring you into the faith? Like, show of hands. Anybody who their mother actually was like, hey, come to church. Awesome. A lot. That was with me too. Mom was important. It says in 2 Timothy 1, verse 5. Now this is Paul, and he's talking to Timothy. And it says, when I call to the remembrance of the genuine faith that was in you, which dwelt first in your grandmother Lois, and in your mother Eunice. Okay? So first, for Timothy, his mother and his grandmother brought him into the faith, right? His mother and his grandmother, which happens to a lot of us. We all get brought into the faith, or most of us get brought into the faith by our mothers and fathers, and they kind of they persuade us to hey, come on, Jesus is good. We should all learn about Jesus. He's very important. Now I'm going to read, we could all flip to Proverbs 31. Now this is going to be my big chunk, so Proverbs 31. Alright, we're going to start in verse 10. Wait, it's long. Okay. Verse 10, it says, for who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. Right there, it's talking about how mother or wife is more precious, it's priceless. I love my mother, and I wouldn't trade her for the world. She's priceless. She's just absolutely amazing. And I'm pretty sure all mothers are priceless. She's like, verse 14, she is like a merchant ship. She brings food from afar. She cooks. We all learned that. Mothers cook, and it's awesome that mothers cook. My mother can make spaghetti. It's amazing. I love spaghetti. She cooks. Everybody obviously loves that their mother cooks. You know, it's just a thing. It's a fact. It's facts only. Okay? Next, verse 21. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all of her household is clothed with scarlet. She provides clothes for her family. She's not afraid of the winter, right? Her family has clothes to keep them warm. Verse 25. Strength and honor are in her clothing. She shall rejoice in the times to come. Mothers are strong, okay? They have to deal with their whiny husbands and their whiny kids all the time, okay? Yes, husbands are very whiny, okay? So are kids. I'm a kid. I whine a lot. Mom, make me dinner every day, every day. I'm whiny, okay? I like food. But she has to deal with it, you know? And that's awesome. Mothers deal with that kind of stuff. Verse 26. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. They always have the right thing to say, right? Like when your kid, just say your kid didn't make the basketball team, and she's like, "Oh, you're too good for them anyways," right? And they say it kindly too. It's like, you're just way too good for them, right? She always knows the right thing to say. She always knows when to make you smile, you know, and she says it in the kindest way. Mothers are super kind. They, you know, unconditional love, as we heard earlier. They are just kind. They always know the right things to say. Let's see, verse 28. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, he praises her. Hear that? They praise you guys. We praise you, mothers. And so do your husbands. They may not look like it on the inside. They're like, we love you so much. On the outside, they just don't show emotion. But children rise up and call her blessed. She's blessed. We bless her. We're like, you're awesome, Mom. I wouldn't trade you for the world. It goes from priceless. You're just awesome. Verse 29. Many daughters have done well, but you, excellent of them. Charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. All goes together with how your mother brings you to the faith, right? She fears the Lord. She's praised. She's blessed and praised. So I can't say enough about my mother that, you know, she's priceless. You know, she cooks, she cleans. No, she doesn't clean. Shawnee cleans. That's not Mom's job anymore. Shawnee does that fine. She still has to fold the laundry, but doing it, no more. That's Shawnee's job. Free of charge. All he takes is food. It's really that easy. Food. It's just, that's his easy pay. Now, mothers are awesome. You can tell that they're an important part of the family, right? They cook, clean. Besides mine, she's straight. She always says the right things. Kindness, she's priceless, right? It's an important part of the family, right?
Right.
Dads are kind of important too, okay? Dads are kind of important. They're a lot important. Number one, the dad has to be head of the household, right? He's got to lay the rules down. What have I told you? Not supposed to pee on the carpet. I told you this 10 times. You're grounded, okay? He's got to be the head of the household. He's got to provide. The father, goes out and he works to keep his family going, right? He goes out and he spends countless hours, maybe, out working to get the money in, so that way the mother can cook for her family, have the clothes. You know, he does all that stuff. He makes the money. Now, he takes care of his children, right? But he doesn't make them mad. We're going to turn to Ephesians chapter 6. I can get there. That'd be awesome. I'm reading it. Ephesians chapter 6. I'm going to read verse 4, but we'll come back to Ephesians 6 later. You, the father, do not provoke your children to wrath. You hear that? Don't make your children angry. God warns you about it. Don't do it. Okay? But bring them into the training of the Lord. God's telling you to teach your children the ways of the Lord, right? Right there. Don't make them mad. Don't aggravate them, but just teach them. Right? Dad is supposed to be the spiritual leader of the family. He's supposed to be the head of the household, the provider. He doesn't aggravate his kids, right? He loves his kids. He teaches them, right? An overall spiritual leader. Now, I'm going to go up and read verse 33, Ephesians 5, verse 33. Nevertheless, let each one of you particular so love his own wife as himself. Fathers, love the mothers just like you love yourself. Right? Treat each other the same. You guys love each other. Right? And let the wife see that she respects her husband. Mothers. Okay. Okay. So we've learned now that mothers are absolutely important to the family, right? Super important. They are super, super important. They're the head of the household. They provide, take care of the children, and they're the spiritual leader of the household. They teach what God wants them to teach. Let's go to Deuteronomy. We're way back in the Old Testament. We're going to go to chapter 11. No, chapter 12. Verse 11. That's right. Chapter 12, verse 11. Then there will be the place where the Lord your God chooses to make his name abide. Therefore, you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, offerings from the hand, and all the choice offerings which you vow to the Lord. You shall rejoice in the Lord your God. Worship. You shall worship God. Worship isn't just singing. Worship is actually studying the Word, right? It's both. You worship, you sing praises to God, and then you get into His Word. We're going to continue. You, talking to the Father, you and your sons and daughters and your male and female servants, okay? Forget the male and female servants. We're just going to focus on the sons and daughters. Okay? You're supposed to worship with your family, right? It's supposed to be everybody's in for the ride. And the father's supposed to help do that. His father's supposed to be the spiritual leader. He's supposed to be like, let's go. He's supposed to be the guy that motivates us. Let's go. Let's start worshiping. Let's read the Bible. That's what he's supposed to do. So, we've learned that mothers are very important, right? They're super important. God gave us mothers not only so they could just make us, right? Okay? But so that they can nurture, and they can teach us, and they love us, and they provide for us, and they take care of their children and their family. The husband, their kids, everybody. They take care of their family. Fathers are also very important. God gave us fathers to be the leader of the household, to enforce the rules, no more peeing on the carpet, to provide, and to be the spiritual leader of the family. Now see, you got to have both of these to have a family. You can't have a family without both. You got to have both. If you don't have one, if you don't have the mother, then you don't got children. That's important. You don't have somebody to teach them and love them and care for them and provide them. And the father can do a really good job, but a mother has a different way of doing it that comforts us. And if you don't have the father, you don't have the person who goes out and works. You don't got the actual spiritual leader of the family. You don't got the enforcer, the one who lays down the rules. Like, who's heard this phrase? I'm going to tell your father when you get home. Who's heard that? Yeah. Okay. That scares us, right? You instantly are like, Mom, I'm super sorry. I'll never ever do it again. And then you do it a week later. But at that moment, you're like, we're never going to do it again. You're scared because Dad is supposed to be the enforcer. He's supposed to be like, son, you know not to do this. He's supposed to be the enforcer. But if you don't have both, You don't make a family. Okay? I'm going to go back to Ephesians. And I'm going to read Ephesians 6. I'm going to read 1 through 4 now. If I can get to Ephesians. Alright, I'm going to start with verse 1. Children, obey your parents. Ooh, that's a tough one, right? Who has a tough time obeying their parents? Kids, anybody, everybody, yeah. Kids have a hard time obeying their parents. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. What do they mean by promise? Well, you'll always have a family there. If you honor your mother and father, they'll actually, they'll love you and they'll take care of you. And, sometimes, we may argue with our father and mother, and we may get in fights, and, but you always gotta honor them because they're there for you whenever you need it. Verse 3. That it may be well with you and you may live a long life on earth. We're going to continue in verse 4 where it says, and you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training of the Lord. So you got to have both the father and the mother. Because you have to have both that leader in the family and the nurturer in the family. They may be different. They may have their different traits, like we discussed. But they work together as one, and in Genesis and in Matthew and in Ephesians talks about they become one. They work together as one, and when they don't work together as one, that's when it gets bad. See, if you got the father and the mother living in different homes, they're not really working together as one. When the kid's just there, he doesn't really live either or. He's kind of like a suitcase. He's just going around back and forth, back and forth. They have to work together as one. And when they work together as one, then that's a family. That's what it is.